Virginia.
How are you?
Let's be honest, my passport say.
Doug fixed that.
Oh, okay, good. Smart.
Wait.
For a big like he's good anything.
You see? I can tell you how to improve it sometime. It's really easy.
Is that the same stuff?
Yeah.
I got to show you.
All right. Call this meeting to order.
She's pledging to do. Oh, me, I'm doing it. Our Heavenly Father, we thank you for this day. Lord, we thank you for all the blessings you've given all of us, Lord, and we just ask you to be with us as we go through the county business this morning. In your name we pray. Amen.
Amen. Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Honor the Texas flag. I pledge allegiance to thee, Texas, one state, under God, one and indivisible.
Morning, everybody. All right, at this time, any person with business before the court not scheduled on the agenda may speak to the court. No formal action can be taken on these items at this meeting. Each speaker will be limited to 3 minutes. See no takers, so we will go into interprecinct project schedule and staffing.
I have submitted CPI of 10 for the final amount of $933,676.14. That will end the grant. There will be no more grant funds, so. And that's actually less than what I was going to submit. So we were done with that once they approved this submission. I sent all of the documents and all of that. I think it completed, a total of, there was 23 projects listed on the project worksheet. I believe it completed a total of 9 of them. Some of them were combined projects, like it had a portion here and a portion here and a portion here, but they were actually, we just did everything under one. Like project 1 was County Road 4156, but also project 5 and project, I think 9 was also 4156. So everything was just counted under project 1 instead of under the other ones. In the same way with, I think, project 4, project 8, and project, I think it was 12. They were Block Line Road, and we did those all under project 8 under Block Line Road. So the grant is finished. Once I get the final submission, final reimbursement back, it'll be done.
So we, how much overage? There is, I know.
It's a lot.
I know, 700 and something.
Yeah, well, I submitted 100 and the first submission I did last week was 100, what did I tell you, 1 million, not 100.
Yeah.
1.5 or something like that.
Mhm.
And then, so I had it, or 1.67, that's what it was, 1.67, came down to 977. So about 700,000, a little over more than 700,000. That'll just be having to come out of the road and bridge, fund balance on that.
That's never gonna want to be that, is it?
Well, considering that y'all have been doing budget amendments out of it, yeah.
Hopefully, we're gonna see the legislature during this legislative session to rebuild that fund. And we can use those projects.
Right, yeah.
We can redo
But that
those
won't be
projects.
until the legislative session, and then when they, allocate funds to that. But because our county did use all of the funds, we will be more susceptible of getting the grant again. We weren't one of the counties that left any money on the table because there's not a penny left. It's gone.
Because when there's about 35 million left.
Well, not of
The
our
state?
money,
No,
but
to
yeah.
the state.
There was plenty. I mean, that's what Zelma had said. that day when they were here. So, I mean, I'm pretty sure they'll do another grant again because they're more really focusing on infrastructure. But you never know what the state of Texas is gonna do, and it also depends on who gets voted in.
And especially other counties that received the grant money didn't use it. They may say, well.
And it might
some
go all
may.
back in a pot and then allocate it out to counties that are interested that did use their funds. That's part of how they did this grant, was those who didn't use the,
Previous.
SB, I forget what it was called then, it was some other number, but, that money, those that didn't use it were not applicable to apply. In the counties that did use their funds, which is what we used for Cavender Road, we were able to apply and get additional funds. So we got more on this grant than we did on that one.
So maybe they'll split it up for the ones that didn't use it.
I hope so.
Well, that, what we budgeted for in 2020 when we did this grant, turned out to be 3 times higher when we got ready to start doing it.
Sure.
But we had to complete it, or we
We're
were
gonna
losing.
lose it. Yeah. So, but anyway, they all got done, so.
Yeah.
All but one. All but one.
I got several that didn't, but that's okay. We'll get there.
This takes time,
It does.
that money.
We'll get there.
Anything else?
We got the maintainer ready, just in case something gets lit.
Call for rain starting Thursday or Friday.
Let it
For
be.
rain.
We can always hope.
That's great.
Anything else? All right, we'll move on to new business, the GMP for the EMS station. Consider approval of GMP amount 4.8 million for the construction of the Scurry County EMS station, and approve the county judge to negotiate and execute AIA 133 Exhibit A, guaranteed maximum price amendment with Cohen LLC. Notice it says guaranteed maximum price. So going over what I've handed out to you, we started out, when we talked about this, we approved 4.3 million. But there have been some things that come up since then. So the first thing is that the owner contingency added to the GMP of 151,688 for the exclusive approval and use of Scurry County during the project. Any unused funds are returned to Scurry County for the contingency fund. There's still some delegated designs that need to be completed by third-party vendors, such as the pre-engineered fire alarms, fire suppression, et cetera, that once they're complete could require some additional design modifications from the engineers on record. This is one of the primary reasons for the allocation of owner contingency in the project. These are things that you can't get answers to right now. And by the way, we have Ryan Bray with Butler Cohen here today. He's going to talk to us in a few minutes about some of these things. The GMP includes a turnkey scope as indicated, the design and specifications of the project. So everything is all in the GMP. Butler Cohen has identified several items for cost reduction that Scurry County could consider throughout the course of the project. This could yield additional savings to the project if needed. I'm going to let you jump in here and talk about the participation rate that you had.
Sure.
and anything else you want to talk about.
Thank you, Judge. As he noted, my name's Ryan Bray. I'm the Vice President of West Texas Operations out here. I want to start off by saying thank you all for giving us the opportunity. The second part is I'm extremely happy with our pre-construction department and the level of effort that went into this bidding process. We were able to achieve 70% local participation, which is unheard of out here. We've got a larger project in Martin County, 100+ million, that didn't get anywhere near that. And from that, we feel comfortable that all of our major trades, getting 4 bids per major trade, that's another thing we don't see as often. We were able to achieve that on this project. It gives us a level of comfortability that we are getting actual, real competitive market rates from these subcontractors. Had we not gotten that, we wouldn't feel as comfortable that this number that we're presenting to the county is solid as it is. So that's on the market participation side. Any other questions that y'all have regarding that? Okay.
So what cost savings are we looking at potentially?
So listed in that, GMP, there's a whole list. So there's some options to change, to go from one to another, but go ahead, Brian.
So we have kind of like an à la carte menu of some cost savings that can be implemented at any time of the project. It's not too late to do that at any point of the project, as long as we hadn't ordered the materials and everything was set forced into place. Some of those could be, the underground duct bank for a concrete duct bank for Encore. There's some efficiencies there, whether it be finishes. There's somewhere in the realm of $100,000 to $200,000 that could be saved. But we never want to look at cheapening a building. We want it to be efficient value engineering. So that is something that we've got time throughout the design process and procurement process to make those decisions with the county.
So what would this, that Don, you're talking about Encore, explain exactly what that is and what the difference would be if we chose something?
And I don't have the exact dollar amounts in front of me. It's
I just need to know what it's doing, what you're doing. They're different.
right.
It's not the money.
So the drawing showed for a pretty large underground duct bank that's a concrete duct bank. And if not required, some of our preliminary conversations we've had with Encore, they see some potential efficiencies in that. If you're able to shorten that run or get rid of it potentially, there's cost savings in that.
What would be in its place?
It would just be backfilled and
Also direct burial rather than having something for it to run through.
and it all depends on what Encore is going to require, right? That's a third-party service provider, but we've worked with them a lot and we tend to find some efficiencies as long as they're okay with it.
And so the GMP basically is everything included. It's, it's not, that for sure, we can get these savings here. This is, at the max, this is what it's gonna be.
I wanted to point out, the process moving forward. If a GMP is approved, we move into our procurement phase. And that's where we're working through buyout with the subcontractors. That competition with those subcontractors really doesn't end because we're going to continue to go into, if you were to get a contract, what is your final dollar? Any efficiency, say it was a $100,000 contract and it came in at $80,000. That gets rolled back into the contingency fund. So throughout that process, I'll use Martin County again for an example. $115 million job, we were able to find $6 million worth of buyout savings and bring scopes of work back into the scope that they had previously taken out. So we're constantly looking for the efficiencies to give you all the best bang for your buck and the best building you can get. And also work on price to keep that contingency fund, healthy on the project.
And the contingency fund is all funds that would come back to us at the end of the project.
So tools and equipment, I was wondering about that. Is that something that you can't use anymore? What does that entail?
It all depends. I'd have to go into the detail sheet. But a lot of times that'll be rental equipment, right? So not all equipment's owned on a project. If there's equipment that's rented or if there's equipment that's specifically bought for this project. We've had projects where we've handed over equipment to the county for their use afterwards. We could get into further detail on what exactly that means, but that's
It's not that much money.
No.
In comparison, I'm just trying to figure, I've assumed that some contractor that turns in a bid to you is furnishing rental equipment and everything under that bid.
there's always occasions where the general contractor will have to rent a lull or something like that to be offloading equipment that we are providing through a purchase order. and not a full work order where they're receiving their material and installing their material. And that's a cost efficiency for the county as well.
So in some cases, I assume that county equipment could be used to offload.
Yeah, but if that's available.
If it's, because, I mean, we really don't have a very good rental, place here in Scurry County anymore. And so that might be something that.
These rental companies are hungry. They'll come from
Are they?
all over.
Okay.
Yeah. Oh, they call constantly. You know, they've got their salespeople.
Okay. So what we usually see though is you're paying mileage, you're paying a person at $100 an hour, and plus renting the equipment. You know, it just seems to like it just continues to escalate now. If you get enough bids, maybe they go down on some of that.
It all depends. We try to, when we go through buyout, make sure these subcontractors have everything underneath their umbrella. But it never fails, whether it be, hey, I ordered doors, frames, and hardware, right? And I've got one guy that's gonna, you know, the framing guy's gonna install the frame, and then I'm gonna get another guy to swing the doors, install the hardware. They'll say, well, I'm not offloading that. So you get into little details of a project like that where equipment's necessary for the general contractor.
So in the electrical, I know it's not a separate thing. Is there, in the electrical, is that with a generator and for backup, just in case that we lose our power?
It's a good question. I'd have to double check. I can't remember going over that with our pre-con department. It's been a minute since I've looked at that.
Okay.
I'm thinking we did.
I thought that we did. But I'd have to check on that for you.
I mean, the reason I ask is not only because it's so important to keep that up 24 hours a day in electrical, and more we're seeing batteries that are going down, way down. For home, now they've got a battery that you can charge morning and evening for an hour with a generator, and it'll run the home, one that's got 5-ton air conditioning. It'll run for 12 hours, so you're not continuously running a generator.
Sure.
Not only is the noise aggravating, it's, they're just getting batteries going down in cost. And so just wondered if they're looking at different ways of making sure that there is power there.
And that's a part of that value engineering process that I talked about that is never really truly over till you've hit the order button. We can look at those cost efficiencies and really the efficiency of the building as a whole throughout that process. You know, generator is one of those things that is part of that early procurement because of the long lead times that we see. So that will be something early on in the project we'll want to get released. But those conversations can be had, and if there's savings with that, it goes back to that contingency plan.
But even if there's nothing else we can do, we can surely set up the electrical part of it to where you could easily place a generator at some point in the future.
That's a part of the budget discussions that we have with every county that we work with, that, okay, you don't have the budget for it, but there will be a receptacle there for that. You can pull up a generator and it's plug and play for generator backup. Yes, sir.
Okay.
Yeah.
And then one other thing, are we not going to use gas appliances for the meal preparation place and for the heating of the building? I saw 0 here on the gas utility.
Right.
Is there something that y'all have come up with that's cheaper than natural gas?
It's all dependent on what we can work through with y'all. And natural gas, the cost of that is usually how far away is the gas? I know the jail's right there. So,
is the line big enough though?
Right. And if that's going to work with the service provider. So again, additional confirmation that we can make. And if we go that route, we can make it work.
Sounds good.
Thank you, Ryan. So the original budget we talked about was 4.3 million, with 3,433,000 in ARPA funds and pilot payments of 867,000. Budget came in at $4,648,311.97. Owner contingencies of $151,688, bringing it to about 4.8 million. It's about a $500,000 shortfall. Right now, the ARPA funds that with the accrued interest is $3,566,593.60. And we're getting about $14,000 a month in interest. Don't believe, if I remember correctly, we wouldn't have to make any kind of type of payment until, it doesn't say, it says 26, that's wrong, it's supposed to be 25, March of 25. If I remember correctly, but even if we did have to do earlier, we're gonna be accruing interest up to about 40,000 in interest by that time. That'll bring ARPA funds to roughly $3,670,000. Funds available total right now is $4,473,594. That shortfall comes down to $326,406, which that also includes the contingencies. And this also gets into the next agenda item, additional funds for the EMS station. Consider allowing EMS to use additional revenues to supplement cost of EMS station if needed. So their patient receipts so far for 2024 is $1,700,000 roughly. It may be a little higher than that. In the budget, we budgeted $1 million in patient receipts, so they have $700,000 in over budgeted. Yeah. And that usually goes to the Texas Class account for EMS. EMS would be willing to add up to $500,000 of the patient receipts toward the building. So there would be no additional pilot payment or tax dollars needed above what's already been allocated.
Have you worked out a pay schedule? I mean, is it all paid in March of 25?
No, this is
the schedule.
Yeah,
They send it out they've already been doing the administrative fees, come in little pay vouchers. And so we have payment 1, payment 2, stuff like that. Just like they did when y'all did all of the remodeling through No, not CTSI, it's Consumer Turnaround Specialist, was that what it was called? That did all the remodeling of all the buildings.
Oh, of course.
They used to be in that building over there, but it used to be Texas Savings Bank a long time ago.
CTS didn't do that work. They did the work out here at Maverick West.
They also did that, some of that
CTS?
work. I have all of the invoices
But
and
they're an engineering firm.
I have payment vouchers where we paid them.
they did the engineering on that. Possibly.
I paid payments to them when I started here.
There was
But the point is,
yeah.
it came in payment vouchers.
Yeah, that's right.
That was,
I got you.
so it
It's
won't
not
be paid
all
at one time.
once.
Yeah, okay. So you're still accruing interest.
You're still accruing.
And we have to spend those other
It
funds.
has to
by
be
2026.
allocated.
Yeah,
Out.
yeah, so those ARPA funds would come first.
Right. Gotcha.
So, if y'all are agreeable, we would need an approval for the GMP at that amount and, allowing EMS to use those additional funds. Any more thoughts, questions on any of this?
It seems like there's a lot of variables still in the cost.
Yeah, but this would be the guaranteed maximum price. The idea is at no point in the future will we come back and say, we need more funds. At this point, we're saying these are where we're gonna cut to stay below that and get money back.
So you need approval for 4.8.
Yeah, the GMP, the guaranteed maximum price amendment, 4.8 million. And approval for me to sign and negotiate.
Okay, I make a motion that we approve the GMP with Butler Cohen for the $4.8 million to build the new EMS building by the Sheriff's Department and give the judge the authority to sign for the court.
All in favor? All opposed? Okay. Additional funds for EMS station. We want to allow.
Just a side note on this one, I still will have to certify so that we know exactly how much. I will certify at the last court of December, and then the court will, approve to, or disapprove to put into the Texas Class EMS fund. It will be held there in that fund until it gets paid out to Butler Cohen.
If I may have a point of clarification, there should be 700,000 still in that account currently.
Yes, you still have money in there.
So I got 700 and then this will be another additional
Yes.
700.
Yes, because
Which
you
will
still have
allocate.
funds in your Texas Class
Right.
EMS fund. But this will go in there because this is EMS revenue that you're,
Yeah, I just wanted to make sure that the court knew that there was still, there's 700 to account for the
756.
already committed ambulance.
currently he has 750,652.44. That's before October's interest is placed in his EMS fund, Texas Class. So then this, as of December, 17th, I think, is gonna be the last quarter of the year. Then we will, certify revenue on that court, and then the court will vote whether or not they would choose to allow him to place those funds into Texas Class EMS. Those will then be held there until it is time. We use the ARPA funds first to pay payments, and then once it's time, we would then transfer it into pay the Butler Cohen their additional. So anything over what's needed would still stay in his Texas Class EMS fund,
Only up to 500,000.
is what's used.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yes.
Did you have anything else you needed?
So we need a motion?
Yes, sir.
Make the motion, we allow EMS to use additional revenues to supplement the cost of the EMS station that's needed
Up to
up to the 500,000.
all in favor? All opposed? Thank you, Ryan, for being here. Appreciate you.
Thank you.
Answer takes for us.
Thank y'all. We look forward to getting moving on everything.
Sure. If you would pass that on to, so I can get the document, if they have the document.
Yes, sir. We'll get everything moving and, start talking schedule and everything else.
Sounds good.
We're
Thank you
excited.
so much. We're
Thank y'all.
excited too.
Appreciate your
Thank
time.
you. One last point on that, looking at mobilization, January and starting February, somewhere in there. All right, precinct 3 agreement with Clint Kemet, Keith Clements. And it's a crushed cement contract. I'm gonna let Sean talk to this.
At the lay down yard for the senior plant is, they will have crushed cement being milled. And as you can see from the agreement, which has been created by county attorney, there's probably, I'm just guessing, 200 belly drum holes. Keith wants 40 to 50 at his dad's house for a pad in exchange for precinct 3 getting the remainder. Keith has this agreement. I took him one. He's agreed with it. I mean, we can use it.
Second.
Where are you gonna store it?
We're gonna leave it on Keith's property as we use it. Cause he's agreed with that too. So he was gonna be here this morning, they had a funeral, so. But it's good material. We're gonna use a bunch of them all over the lane. Where it's so sandy. So
How fine is that crush?
Oh, it ain't dust by any means, but it's a touch bigger than millions. But it's got a little dirt in it, because when they cleaned it up,
So it went through an actual crusher then.
yeah. But the first pile was on the south end of Block Line. Next one's on where the stackyard was, going east at the Sterling's Block Line.
Any further questions, comments? We have a motion and a second, all in favor?
Like,
Thank you, Jason.
Thank you all very much. Appreciate you.
Where you going?
Take my daughter to Orphan. You wanna come?
All right, fifth contract renewal for Savins, participating entity service agreement for the statewide automated victim notification service. It seems like every year we have to do this.
Did make a motion that we approve the Savins agreement and allow you to sign the record.
so,
All in favor? Okay, auction of copiers, discuss auction of copiers to Richard Reed. Sean?
I talked to Richard, he's having a sale 16th of November. He said sometimes they bring money, sometimes they don't. His charge is 10% of what they bring. You get rid of them instead of having to show everybody, because to my knowledge, they all are functional, correct?
As far as I know,
Okay, so,
yeah. As is where it is.
well, yeah, I mean, Richard won't come and get them, but I figured I'll just take them up there.
Okay.
I'll get somebody else and take them up there.
Okay.
But it'll be done with and they'll be out
What was the date of that auction?
16th of November.
Second.
Any more discussion? Alright, all in favor?
If you carry on.
DCO foreign trade zone MOU with DCOA in regards to foreign trade zone. I think Barbara emailed you all to discuss this a bit.
I just wondered if it would affect, and I should have talked to her, to the guy there in Abilene, if it would affect local businesses that are already here, such as our pipe manufacturing company out here that buys all of their material from outside the United States. I don't think they have it anywhere else. I just wonder if it would help them not paying a import fee.
So I talked to Barbara a little bit and that, you know, when, anytime they say you say foreign, it kind of hurts your ears up. And if we don't have tools for these people, they're not gonna come. And I think it's just a tool to get more, hopefully more businesses into the county.
Well, and like you said, the word foreign, just, I'm assuming that the word foreign is not what I think it is.
And it has to do, I know kind of what I read about the tariffs, it kind of gives them a break on the tariffs. If they're coming to these specific counties that are in this zone, if they're not, if say we'll use Fisher County because they're not in it, if they decide to start building this, whatever, and they have to have things come from overseas, they're gonna be charged the cuckoo and tariffs, and which is liable to shut the project down. Or they'll have to ship them to say Scurry County and then, or another local county, and then I don't know if that even works.
You guys don't hear about the tariffs.
Maybe they'll come back. Maybe they'll come back
Or not go.
or not go.
That's
Yeah.
ridiculous.
It is ridiculous. Absolutely.
You go up doubling the price of equipment, just get it over
It's already more expensive than you can pay now.
here. Oh, man, Terry, it's around here.
That's why you drive, what's it called?
I can't say much. It's German made, and ain't no cheaper.
I got you.
It runs all the time though, don't it?
Yeah, after they got fixed, yeah. $14,000 main wire.
Ouch.
But anyway, it is what it is.
I think it's a good thing. I think that we should do it. I can't see any downside. If it helps our economy,
So
let's do it.
Scurry County is in the edge of it,
We're the last county to the west.
That's the way I see it.
Yeah, and there was a reason.
There's a map up there.
Yeah, that's the map. And I think, the reason was they chose counties that are moving forward in development and all of that. And so that's why they've included us in there.
Okay, so I got one more question. We got two counties between us and Jones County. How's that gonna affect this deal? Or is it?
It won't. So all of these counties that are highlighted in yellow on there are included in this FTZ, foreign trade zone. So, if all of these counties approve it, then they get all of these benefits that are listed on this other page. Duty deferral or elimination, and these are benefits to businesses, not to us, to the businesses.
That already exists.
Yes, so, yeah, I just asked
Or
that.
that comes.
Will it?
Yeah. I asked, will it help current local businesses getting foreign materials? She said they already get foreign materials. This helps them take those parts and put a functioning product, good golly, together in our community to export. I said, yes, but will it lower tariffs for them or fees? She said, yes, that's decided by the city court, et cetera, just like any other incentive or abatement. So, all right.
Oh, that's it, you made it.
Good, I will get that signed and get that over to her then. Courthouse irrigation system, discuss consider quotes for irrigation system at courthouse and additional funds if needed. And I forgot to check with you and see how much is in that account right now. So.
Which count?
The irrigation fund.
It is, I have it,
We put 25,000 for irrigation.
yes, but I have the budget analysis report.
Okay.
We are 21,864.44 is left in there right now.
21,864.
Yeah, 864.44.
And that has been used to get the irrigation system ready.
My understanding that all this holdup has been due to wiring issues that was wired wrong. It was wired for 3-phase and it was actually
Oh, you're talking about the pump.
the reason why we kind of waited within this long. I mean, we couldn't get it going. Well, your friend wired it.
That was your friend.
So that's been
But you get platinum.
we need to really, I mean, it's an eye opener. Just because they say they can do it, and maybe they already work for the county, is not to let them,
Yeah,
get the people that are paid to do that.
right. So we did get some quotes, and some were extremely slow on getting quotes to us. One quote, and this is just installing the irrigation system. It's not getting to the other areas, and I'll go over that in a moment, that need to be gotten to. It's $10,287 to install. However, you need to get to different parts of the lawn, under concrete, under roads, whatnot. We got 2 quotes on that. And it was, one of them was it came out to be about 19,000. And we got another one for 36,000 for the boring. Part of another quote is, M&S Drilling Company, pressure tank, pressure switch, transformers, relief valve, labor, all that is $2,200. So that's about $31,000 total, somewhere around in there. There's another quote that we got from an irrigator out of Abilene. Turnkey, they come in and they do everything. He brings in a guy to do the concrete cutting instead of boring, or asphalt cutting instead of boring. They do some boring, but not all of it would be boring. His total cost is $36,361, and that's a turnkey. It is a bit higher than if we were to piecemeal it together, but we would be looking at putting in an additional about 15,000 into that budget to do a turnkey job if we went that route. If we went the other route with one company come in and doing the irrigation, another company doing the boring and all of that, and then matching their timelines, it's about 31,000. I know it costs a little more, but I think the better option would be to go with the turnkey job. Because he's gonna set his whole schedule up, they'll get it done before the end of the year. I don't know when the others would be able to do it. Do you know when Benji would be able to do his part, or Bobby would be able to do the boring?
They haven't said anything about it yet. I couldn't give them any, I told them that we needed to try to get it done in the year, but
Yeah.
I haven't committed, so they haven't.
Right, okay.
So, how much money did you say was left? 21?
What did you write down? Because I already moved that.
$21,864.44.
Yeah, that.
Right. Well,
Yeah,
so where would the remainder come from?
that's infrastructure, right? So 329.
It would be Fund 29. I don't know, I don't think I have the Fund 29, 271 balance fund. We're not including the abatement money stuff, because we already had funds still in there before we started collecting abatements in that line. But it would be Fund 29 because it's infrastructure, it would go under there and come out of that. It's in there. I just don't know what the balance is in there right now.
It's more than 15,000.
Yes, it's more than that. It's probably close to about 100, if not over 100,000, if I was to guess. I don't want to give a direct number because I really don't know. And I didn't pull that number. I pulled pretty much every other thing.
So it would be coming out of reserve, so to speak.
Basically, but it's money that had been already allocated at one point in time to Fund 29, but it wasn't budgeted to go to any expense.
Right.
And it was just been in there. And that's funds that we've used at different times for different permanent improvements throughout.
Well, actually, it's the last thing you want. I didn't believe I would say that, but I agree with what I'm saying. The last thing you want, the last thing you want is for everything around this thing to be dead.
Yeah.
Now, no, so I'll make the motion to
Do what?
36.
Okay.
The turnkey,
Yeah.
so that was what company?
That is in Starway Ventures. Okay, so what we'll do is approve it in this meeting, come back in the next meeting and allocate the funds for it in a
You
budget amendment.
seconded? Jeff,
So this is the company that can have it done by the year, right?
Yes.
All right, we have a motion and a second, all in favor? Thank you. No certified revenue, approval of line item transfers,
There's a bunch of those.
budget amendments.
Okay, so there are a lot of line item transfers here. County judge, general payroll, 1,200 out of part-time. Salary for additional employee for the month of December for training. JP1, education and training, 1,000 out of JP1 internet from Fund 42, which is their tech line, for training though. Then JP2, equipment less than 1,000 out of equipment more than 1,000 for their computer, desk, chair, and mats. DA's office, law books 1522 out of lease rentals. Treasurer's office, office supplies 398.92 out of communications due to increase in the supply and cost line. The budget was over. Maintenance repair miscellaneous 2,400 out of part-time and annex miscellaneous and repair increased budget projects, upgrades and repairs. Sheriff's office, operating supplies, 2,000 out of utilities, extended due to uniform expenses, I think is what he wrote. Park, pool supplies, 4,500 out of pool repairs to just clean up the line. Park utilities and miscellaneous repair, 5,000 in utilities, 3,015 into maintenance and repair, out of their capital, $8,015 total. Extension office, extension agent dues for 82 out of auto expense. The dues, they have to pay for membership dues for Derek and Rhonda. Precinct 3, operating supplies, 5,000 out of road material and construction, balance lines. Golf course, office supplies, 200 out of utilities, cover expenses for the remainder of the year. Concessions, golf course concessions. I think he's putting $650 total into the concession line. He's taking it out from janitorial clothing and postage, to cover to the end of the year. And EMS, education and training, 1,974 out of the EMS education program. That is all the line item transfers. There are 2 budget amendments. First one is county judge, general payrolls, 2002-2814, social security tax, 278, retirement, 378, workers' comp, 46, and unemployment insurance. 40, Cynthia's retiring 1st of January. We need a salary for additional employee for the month of December for training. And then youth center is food, 2,500, utilities, 2,000, and general liability insurance, 3,000. The prices have gone up, in all of those lines.
Make a motion to approve. Line item transfers and budget amendments is presented.
Second. All in favor?
Accounts payable.
Accounts payable is $1,397,143.66.
Pay the bills.
All in favor? My mind is going in different directions now. I expected someone to say no on my budget amendment. I appreciate it. We will be adjourned.
Do you have a hard copy of the Stebbins? Okay, I printed one just in case. So you
There's another
can sign it.
one.
It is cold. I'm going
That's
to
one
wear a
that's civil and
heater.
everything you can come out.